you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who might you ask? I am The Wiz, and I'm here today to review the 1994 Oscar winner for Best Supporting Actress, Bullets Over Broadway, starring John Cusack, Chazz Palminteri, Dianne Wiest, and Jennifer Tilly, directed by Woody Allen. The reason why I'm doing this one today is I missed one last week, and I just have this nagging feeling in my brain that I should have something to make up for it. So I am just making up for the one that we missed the following week, which by the time that this recording is up, or this episode is up, you've probably already listened to it. It's probably already on the feed right now. So this is to make up for the fact that we didn't do the theory of everything. So that's pretty much why I am doing this review. But why else am I doing this? I gotta be honest with you. I like Woody Allen movies. I like the verbose nature of his comedy. I like how intelligent it is at times. One of my favorite movies is Annie Hall. I think that's a great movie. I have tried to watch Manhattan a couple times, and something's always happened where I have to stop. I also liked a lot of his later films, like Match Point was really good. I'm not a closet fan of Small Time Crooks. I know that's not one of his more celebrated movies, but I certainly liked it. But yeah, I like Woody Allen films, and I always look forward to seeing them. Whether they are bad or good, they're just a different flavor that I enjoy in his types of films. All right, so let's get into the review of Bullets Over Broadway, directed by Woody Allen. But before we get into the review, let's get into the plot. This is set in the 1920s in New York. David Shane, who is played by John Cusack, is having a hard time securing funding for his latest play. He has such a hard time that he accepts funding from a mob boss named Nick Valenti, who's played by Joe Vitarelli, with one condition. He will fund the entire play if David puts his girlfriend Olive in one of the lead roles, played by Jennifer Tilly. The problem is, Olive can't act. Olive is a terrible actress, and on top of that, she's also pretty dim-witted. So the heady nature of David's play is in sharp contrast to the capabilities of Olive. Add this, the other cast members, the production of the play is having snags and issues, and it's just a comedy of errors, essentially. All right, so now that I've gotten to the plot, let's get into my 3 points. And my first point is this is a funny story about misplaced talent and the chaotic nature of creation. This film is really good when it sticks to the creation of the play, getting the play set up, acting, the writing. The movie is really good in those sense. Very funny film. What I mean by misplaced talent is not only with Olive. Olive is really obvious as a misplaced talent, but I'm also talking about several other characters in the film, other actors, specifically Dianne Wiest's character. But we can also talk about Chazz Palminteri's character, Cheech, or even David, played by John Cusack. The film is a lot about how these different types of people who either do or do not have talent, and either it's not shown or it's assumed to a point of pretentiousness, or it's forced upon them even though they clearly don't have talent, much like Olive. When it goes through those scenes with the play and everyone trying to set up for the play to get the play to work, it's actually pretty funny and really engaging in that one. When the film sticks to the surroundings of the play, it's actually really funny and really enjoyable. My second point, Palminteri is a hilarious highlight in this film. There are good performances. I definitely like Jennifer Tilly in this film. For the most part, I like Dianne Wiest in this film. I don't understand how she won the Oscar, to be completely honest, but I did think she was pretty good in the film. The best performance of the film, bar none, is Chazz Palminteri. His role as Cheech, the muscle that is looking after Olive, is just uproarious. He's a background character at first, but he honestly has the best lines of the movie, whether he's insulting Olive or when he is inserting himself into the play. He is hilarious in this movie. And Chazz Palminteri has this great comedic timing with this character that he instantly is enjoyable throughout the film. Even when he is throwing water and bricks into the play, causing David to have a hard time, he is instantly the most entertaining part of this film. I think Jennifer Tilly is very good, but the other performances, I'm kind of mixed on. I don't really like John Cusack very much, and Dianne Wiest is fine, but like I said, I don't understand how she got the Oscar for this. She just is an overacting diva throughout the entire film, and I don't entirely understand why she deserved the Oscar, but Jennifer Tilly did not. I would have chose Jennifer Tilly, But it's not a bad performance, I should say. And my third point, the romantic subplots are undercooked. I mentioned in my first point, when the film sticks to the play and the creation of the play and getting it set up, it really hums very well. It's a very good movie, very entertaining. The problem is, even though this film is very slight, it's about 90 minutes long, there are numerous romantic subplots thrown in throughout the entire film, and none of them work. We can have the romantic subplot between David and his girlfriend, and then eventually David and another person. We can have the romantic subplot between Olive and another actor, the romantic subplot between Olive and her boyfriend who is a mob boss. There's so many romantic subplots, none of them have any time put into them, and none of them work. It just slows down the movie to where I think if they would have just beefed up the play aspect and they cut off all the romantic subplots out, I think it would have been a much better film. But when they start coming up, it just slows down the film and makes it less interesting, and it kind of veers into territory that I think is kind of one note. Like, there's the main romance that happens, or the quote-unquote romance that happens in the film, I think is just not done well at all. I didn't respond to it very well at all. The fact that they ended the movie in a romantic subplot, I think was a mistake, because that romantic subplot was not interesting in the least. There wasn't much time into it, and there wasn't a lot of stuff being put into it as well to make it interesting. I did not enjoy the romantic subplots at all. I think it kind of bogged the film down. And for a movie that's a little over 90 minutes, that's saying something about the quality of these subplots. Okay, so who do I recommend this for? I recommend this for people if you like films about creating stories. The best highlights of the film are when they're dealing with the play, when they're dealing with how we're going to get the play run, how it looks, how the actors are doing. A lot of the best comedy and a lot of the best lines are dealt with that. And I think the strongest elements of the film regard the creation process. I also recommend this for if you like mob movies. The entire film is set in the 20s, and there is a mob element throughout the film. It is not as pronounced, I would say, as other mob movies, but it's good enough to where if you enjoy mob movies, the stereotypes, the things that are in those movies are there, but there is a slight twist that is enjoyable, so if you want that, it's there. And who do I not recommend this for? I do not recommend this for people if you do not like very verbose comedy. The comedy in this film is all in the dialogue. The way that Woody Allen uses the dialogue for a lot of cheeky comedy, a lot of wordplay, all the comedy is there. So if you like your comedy more physical or with gags or with sight gags or stuff like that, this might not be the movie for you. So if you don't like a much more verbal comedy, I would say steer clear of this. Overall, I do recommend Bullets Over Broadway. I think the strongest elements of the film really ratchet it up to a very good film. I just think the romantic subplots bog it down. I think if they would have just stuck to the play and the drama surrounding that, it would have been a much better film in that end. But since they didn't, there's nothing you can do about it. I think it's a good film. I think it's a hilarious film. Chazz Palminteri is so good in this. But the weaknesses of the film, I think, don't really detract too much from the positive. It just brings the film down from what could have been a great movie to a very good movie. So overall, I do recommend Bullets Over Broadway. It's on Peacock, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to. Okay, so since I am recording this before me and Kim's recording of our review of The Theory of Everything, I only know what we're going to be watching on Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday is going to be Snowpiercer. Thursday is going to be Goldfinger. I have an idea of what Saturday might be, but I can't really say as of right now, so you'll find out later on. So until then, I am The Wiz, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.